Hurricane Gustav is headed toward the United States. So look now at the traffic headed out of storm-prone areas. Evacuations are in full force, and we have live team coverage. So far, 1 million people have left the Gulf Coast by car, bus, train, and airplane. Texas is ready to handle 45,000 of those evacuees, and that is where we begin tonight. I'm James Irby. Jenny Lee is on assignment. Let's go straight to Scott Princeton to find out what's going on with Gustav. Scott.
And the latest on Gustav still shows that a Category 3 storm. It has not strengthened to a Category 5 as expected for today. A little bit of wind shear. Also, it's beginning to move out of the loop current, which is warm water, into some cooler water. And we're also seeing some dry air getting wrapped up into the system. Those three combined are generally causing the storm to stay at a Category 3 status right now, with winds of 115 miles an hour. It's still moving pretty quickly to the northwest at 18. In fact, that forward speed has increased a little bit since last night. Let's get the check of the watches and warnings here. You can see from the Florida Panhandle all the way over to the Texas-Louisiana line. Hurricane warnings are currently in effect. Hurricane watches do extend into parts of southeast Texas. As we check out the satellite, the storm, you can see the eye not clearly visible, at least as it was yesterday. Still a very powerful storm. Some of the outer bands of rain from Gustav now beginning to show up just offshore now from Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and parts of Florida. Of course, those rain bands will be spiraling inward toward Louisiana and the deep south here as we head into the next 24 hours. Still expecting a landfall somewhere in southern Louisiana by sometime late tomorrow morning as a Category 3 storm. More in the forecast track of the storm, and we're expecting here at home coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, Scott, we will check back in with you then. Ahead of the storm, President Bush will be visiting Central Texas. He's expected to come to Austin and head to San Antonio, skipping the Republican National Convention to check on evacuees and emergency responders. Earlier today, President Bush visited FEMA headquarters as Hurricane Gustav moves closer to the Gulf Coast. The president's travel plan changes will put him in the region the same day Gustav is expected to hit. This response comes 3 years after his White House was criticized for a slow response to Hurricane Katrina. Governor Rick Perry will be canceling his plans for the Republican National Convention as well, and his appearance at the Nike Human Race today in Austin. He's focusing on efforts here in Texas, efforts like the hundreds of evacuees taking shelter in Travis County. Tonight, many of them are outraged that the Red Cross is not providing cots or beds to sleep on. For that, we go live now to Fox 7's Foti Kalergis, who's standing by at the Delco Center. Foti.
Well, James, more than 200 evacuees now calling the Delco Center their temporary home. Many of them drove hours from places like New Orleans and southeast Texas, only to be told they have to sleep on the hardwood floors.
I'm hurt and I ain't got no rest. I don't want to sit and sleep on no floor.
This woman, who wants to be called Miss Love, was extremely upset with Red Cross representatives. She and her family drove 16 hours from New Orleans, only to be told that they have to sleep on the gymnasium floor here. Some people in the shelter brought inflatable mattresses with them. The Red Cross says this is a temporary shelter. Cots and beds are not provided, although you may remember when they were provided during Katrina and Rita, and that's what seems to be the confusion at this time. The Red Cross will provide cots if evacuees are forced to stay long term.
Now, they kind of knew it was coming. They knew people was going to come this way. Why not have at least some kind of air mattress or cots or something for somebody to sleep on?
Say we provide that kind of thing right now. Another hurricane hits the coast of Texas in a week. We've used all of our resources in that one hurricane. So we want to encourage people to be as self-sufficient as they can.
Now, the Red Cross is not encouraging folks here in Central Texas to come out to the Delco Center and donate cots or inflatable mattresses. So the people that are here are either going to have to go buy mattresses, which we have seen people do, or they're going to have to rely on an interfaith group here that may possibly get them some beds to sleep on. The cot, 250 evacuees expected to come in right now at Austin Bergstrom Airport, special needs evacuees, and they will be housed at the convention center, and cots and mattresses will be provided for them. Of course, we'll have more on that story coming up later on in our newscast. James?
Foti Kalergis reporting live from the Delco Center. Governor Rick Perry is now ordering additional state resources to help out with evacuation efforts. Perry has talked with President Bush along with the Louisiana governor and other top leaders about making sure everyone is prepared. Friday, Perry met with officials in Texas. Among the resources being deployed, 7,500 National Guardsmen, 6 C-130 aircraft, a couple of those planes expected at the Austin airport any moment now. Jenny Lee is standing by live at ABIA with the latest. Jenny.
And James, we're waiting for the arrival of 240 evacuees from New Orleans, some of them with special medical needs, others do not have special needs. Take a look. C-130s, 3 C-130s holding 80 passengers are expected here sometime between 5 and 7. You can see this is a multi-agency response. There are 17 ambulances out here from Austin, Travis County, Williamson County, Scott and White, and even A&R, which is a private company. There's a dozen CAT Metro buses out here, along with fire trucks and police. Now, Jim Halbrook, a spokesman with the airport, says it will be up to emergency responders out here on how the special needs patients will be transported to the Austin Convention Center. Halbrook also says they have had more time to prepare this time compared to the response to Hurricane Katrina 3 years ago. They were given more of a heads up before the storm. Last time, they were notified after Katrina, and that's why they're very prepared this go around. Again, 240 New Orleans evacuees expected sometime between 5 and 7. We will bring you that story coming up tonight at 9 o'clock. James?
Okay, Jenny Lee live at Austin Bergstrom. Well, across the Gulf Coast and even right here in Texas, mandatory evacuations are in place. 3 years after Katrina, as we said earlier, devastated Louisiana and other Gulf Coast cities. Take a look at this. All the people lining up on the Interstate 10 to flee Gustav. They've got contraflow in effect, traffic only flowing one direction. Some of the state's resources are in action. More are on standby. San Antonio already began welcoming Hurricane Gustav evacuees. Many are landing at Lackland Air Force Base. They're not sure how long they'll have to stay away from their homes. Ellen Jones's mother is in a wheelchair. She's among nearly 600 other special needs evacuees arriving at shelters one after the other.
You really don't want to leave. And with the same thing with my mom, she said, well, I think we'll be okay. Let's wait till tomorrow. I said, Mom, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
By the end of it all, the city could be housing up to 4,000 special needs evacuees. And a serious warning from the mayor of New Orleans, Ray Nagin, telling Crescent City residents their only option, leave before the hurricane hits. For all those who stay behind, he has this to say.
Anybody who's caught looting in the city of New Orleans will go directly to Angola. Directly to Angola. You will not have a temporary stay in the city. You go directly to the big house in general population.
Stern warning. We will continue our live team coverage from New Orleans coming up in just a bit. But first, we have new at 5. UT defensive tackle Lamar Houston arrested and charged with DWI after an early morning wreck. Fox 7 has learned that the starting defensive tackle was arrested at 11th Street and Interstate 35. Houston played in last night's Longhorn opener against Florida Atlantic, which was a victory. Houston was released from jail this morning after posting. Bond coach Mac Brown issued a statement saying, quote, any punishment would be handled within our family. We will have player reaction to the arrest later on in sports. Austin is playing host to a huge event this weekend, one of only 25 cities to have organized in the Nike Human Race. Coming up on the Fox 7 Sports Edge, we'll take you downtown for the setup and show you how Austin's getting ready for the big race tonight. And live team coverage of Hurricane Gustav continues. Evacuation in place as the storm gains strength in the Gulf, headed toward the United States. The Fox 7 News Edge 5 will be right back. Mayors, governors, and President Bush urging Gulf Coast residents to get out. Hurricane Gustav is on the way and not showing any signs of slowing down. Fox's Casey Stiegel joining us now from New Orleans tonight. Casey.
Hey, James, nice to see you and good to be on with you tonight. New Orleans, downtown, right back here behind me. And I've got to say, this whole place looks a little bit more like a ghost town tonight with that mandatory evacuation in effect. The gray clouds are rolling in. The wind is picking up. Gustav is upon us. That is the latest. We are live in New Orleans. Casey Stiegel. James, back to you.
Casey, got a quick question for you. It doesn't seem like anybody's underestimating this when it seems that everyone's taking this seriously.
Yeah, you know, people are not playing with this after Hurricane Katrina 3 years ago. I mean, that just literally happened this past weekend. 3 years ago marked the anniversary of Katrina. So people are heeding the warnings. They are getting out of here. We were at an evacuation site all day yesterday. A lot of folks were self-evacuating ahead of the mandatory evacuation that it went into effect early this morning. So people are not playing around with this. They seem much more prepared. We're just going to have to wait and see in the next 12 hours or so when this thing makes landfall, James.
Casey Stiegel, thank you, reporting live from New Orleans.
And we're getting closer to landfall with Hurricane Gustav. Could come as early as tomorrow morning, just after sunrise, across some of those wetlands and swampy areas there along the Louisiana coastline. Right now it has winds of 115, gusting to 138, a Category 3 storm. We'll talk more about where it's going to go and the impacts on our weather next.